Hi guys! So today I'm here for a French lesson, and I know I haven't done a French lesson in a long time. I'm just sorry. Today we're gonna focus on the verb can, or it's really a verb. And we're gonna focus on how to express the capacity or the possibility in French. So here we go. In French there are basically two important verbs when it comes to that. The first one is pouvoir, pouvoir, and the second one is savoir, savoir. So they both belong to the third group. So in English you can basically use sometimes I can do that or I know how to do this. In French it's basically the same. It's not really easy to know exactly when you can use this particular verb pouvoir or savoir. So the first case is when you have the right to do something, when you have the authorization to do something, when you are allowed to do something, like can I eat that, can I do this, can I sit there, blah blah blah. In that case, in French you will always use the verb pouvoir. Can I eat that in French would be je peux manger ça, je peux manger ça, je peux manger ça. If you want to be really polite, it would be puis-je manger ça, puis-je manger ça. You can sit there, you can sit there. I don't know why I'm repeating in English because you obviously know English. In French would be vous pouvez vous asseoir là. Vous pouvez vous asseoir là. Vous pouvez vous asseoir là. Or tu peux t'asseoir là. Tu peux t'asseoir là. If you want to say that you cannot do something, like oh, you cannot do that. No. In French it would be vous ne pouvez pas faire ça. Vous ne, very important, pouvez pas, very important as well, faire ça. Vous ne pouvez pas faire ça. Yeah, that's not really weird. Then the second case is a little bit tricky because it's just like in English, for the capacity or the ability to do something, you can use both pouvoir and both savoir. There's no real rule, I think. It's just a question of getting used to and, asking French native speakers, or just looking up online to be sure it's the, it's not that they're, in some cases, using a verb for the other one could be incorrect, but sometimes it's not incorrect, it just sounds weird. So you just have to, get used to language and know the language in order to be able to know when you should use which. One easy way to recognize when you should use pouvoir, for example, is just like in English. For example, let's say, I can draw a cat. If you listen very carefully, it kind of implies an offer. It's kind of like, I can draw a cat if you want. Je peux dessiner un chat, si tu veux. Je peux dessiner un chat, si tu veux. Je peux dessiner un chat, si tu veux. Yes, if you feel like the person who's talking is kind of offering you to do this thing right now, or not necessarily right now, but to actually do it, most of the time you would use pouvoir and not savoir, which would be different from I know how to make sushi, because in French, just like English, this time around you would say je sais comment faire des sushis. Je sais comment, how, comment, faire, to do, des sushi. However, there is a slight difference, a very little difference between French and English, or English and French. For example, in English you would say I can swim, I can drive, I can cook. In that case, in French you would use the verb savoir. Je sais nager, je sais nager, je sais conduire, and what was the last one? And je sais cuisiner, je sais cuisiner. Now, when it comes to an ability which is a little bit specific, you would use the verb pouvoir. Pouvoir. For example, I can run very fast. We wouldn't say je sais courir très vite. It sounds very weird. Je peux courir très vite. Je peux courir très vite. If you just say I can write, in French, it would be je sais écrire. Je sais écrire. But if you become a little bit more specific, I can write without looking down. In French, it would be je peux écrire sans regarder. Je peux écrire sans regarder. If you're speaking of a very general capacity, as I said previously, like I can drive, I can cook, I can swim, I can write, you would use the verb savoir. But if you become a little bit specific, for some verbs, not for all of the verbs, sorry, you switch to pouvoir. There is also a slightly different and special case. For example, I can speak Japanese. In French, you could say je sais parler japonais or je peux parler japonais, but actually most of the time if you want to be neutral, you would say je parle japonais. Je parle japonais. Je parle japonais. So one of the very common mistakes that foreigners do when they use the verb savoir is that they mistake it for the verb connaître. 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 And when you want to talk about a capacity you have, an ability you have, or something you can do, you don't use the verb connaître. Okay? I hope this helped. Let me know what you would like to see next as a French lesson. And I will talk to you very soon, guys. Bye!